Welcome back, nerds and turds, to another live stream repair. We have got quite a few here. Let's go ahead and list them out. First up, we're going to knock out Vivian. Let's see what's wrong with theirs. Ah, beautiful. They want their HomePod dyed yellow, and it's got death farts. Beautiful. That is perfect because I just got that yellow dye that I need to color Vivian's. So let's see who else we've got here. We've got Brian. Brian's HomePod has no power. And then after that, we've got a Nick with a K. And then we've got Abby. And then Adam. We've also got to get Jonathan's. It needs a new logic board and some maintenance. Alright, I think that might be all that we've got time for, but we'll see. We'll see. Where's my mouse? Alright. Oof. Here it is. Let's take a quick listen, hear how bad that is for ourselves. Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of bad. Okay. Well, we're gonna get this apart, get it all fixed up, and then we're not gonna put it all the way back together because they want to get it colored up that nice yellow. So we'll see what it takes to fix it first, and then we'll color it up tonight or tomorrow. Ah, yes, and they want to keep the top and I think power cable 2 also light. Give it a nice little contrast. Oh, hello, welcome to the chat. Have we heard about anything of the second gens being software bricked? I have not, personally. I would like to hear if anybody else has. I'm curious if the Apple stores are plugging into them and restoring the software on them now or not. At least on the second gen. Since the base seems to be more easily removable. But then again, y'all have seen how easy it is to restore the software on these first gens, and that still never happened. I'm not sure, I couldn't tell you, but I haven't heard anything yet. Hopefully our subwoofer survived the DC voltage here. Very nice. I believe it has. I don't see any damage in there. That's great. Yeah, well, there's multiple ways they can fail, mind you. Right. They've got the software breaking issues, which I don't know if they're able to recover the same way as some of the other modern hardware, or if they have to be plugged into restored. And then you've got the hardware issues, like the diode that fails in the first gens. That appears to be a non-issue on the second gen. It's a bigger, newer diode. Pretty much the same thing that we do to the first gens when we fix them. And then the DC filters, however, it's uncertain how long those will last, and when they do go bad, how the HomePod will react to that, and how long it will take before they do go bad. Alright. We are down and at it. Let's get those filters replaced. And then it looks like it's got a 46K data diode, so that needs to also get replaced, or it'll almost certainly fail and need to come back to us for that no power repair. I have had a few minis that I bought for myself with no power, and when I plugged them into my Mac, they restored via USB without a problem and continue to work fine. I'm not sure if those were software bricks or temporary hardware issues that, again, only temporarily resolved themselves, or what, or if the minis and the other more modern hardware is capable of restoring itself in the event of software issues and it just couldn't handle it. It's a specific situation. I don't know. Alright. Quite beautiful and perfect. How's that 10 ohm resistor? Did it get blown up? Nope, it is looking mighty fine and dandy. So let's knock out that diode before it knocks the home pod out. Yeah, I've got pretty much everything in my entire house on backup battery power. The living room and all the speakers in the living room and everything are on a rack mount that runs into this server room. And then everything else around the house has its own little UPS. My work was throwing away a whole bunch of old ones, and a surprising number of them did still work just fine. They were just old. A lot of stuff that we kept for anticipated like warranty replacements and what for customers, and ended up not using them, so they became mine. Freaking $4,000 or $5,000 rack mount UPS. Ballin'. I got my whole server rack backed up and the living room all on one. And it'll still run for like 4 or 5 hours. I'm not pulling an insane amount of power, but that's pretty good. Alright, this right here is about as far as we want to put this back together, because we'll be taking this mesh right back off in order to color it up yellow for them later. But let's test it out and make sure that it is in good working order now. Beautiful.
I'm having trouble connecting.
That is more like it. Okay. Off to the coloring pile for you. And speaking of coloring, let's pull Jonathan's back out. We took a look at this one on the last stream, and it was a blinking volume buttons HomePod. Unfortunately, it ended up being a hardware brick, not a software brick. So they have opted to go ahead and pay for the full hardware repair. We're going to get this torn all the way down, replace the usual failure items, that diode and those filters, and then we will make sure that this all works with a replacement logic board. And then we will leave it mostly together but somewhat apart to take the mesh off later tonight and color it up with Vivian's. They'll be going for blue and Vivian's going for yellow. You got her.
Crazier than expected, sorry.
No, it's a...
She likes to whip, she's like a fucking octopus. Man.
It's impossible to keep her still.
She does not want to sit still, especially when I'm combing her hair, and that's the most important part.
But she doesn't care when you do it.
No, like she didn't care, she just wanted to stay still.
Yeah.
You feel better? She looks better.
Hi.
She seems happier.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, let's go dry you off now.
Done. HW. There we go. Put that in the pile of hardware issue logic boards that we've got. We're going to explore how to actually repair the hardware issues on those boards someday soon. For now, we're dipping into our pile of good working logic boards to make these a little more efficient repair for now. You still use the airports. Very nice. I would expect them to play along fairly well. And since they practically don't make any updates to them anymore, it's probably rock solid. Classic, if it ain't broken, you don't need it. Hello. I have not gotten back to bodies yet. We're gonna try to take another look at that during this stream too. I have a feeling since I believe it got a lot worse when we replaced those filters. Maybe we goofed that up somewhere. Or it's a different issue entirely. But we're gonna take another look at that one. I can't figure it out. We're just gonna put a different amplifier board in it because I don't want to keep Bobby's HomePod for too long, but we will spend more time on the amplifier board if we can swap that out and keep it. Buy ourselves some more time. Oh, my screwdriver. All right. Same thing as Vivian's. Let's see. It's going to get new filters. Does it need a new diode? It does. All right. So it's kind of a good thing that it's here and we've already got it apart. Chances are, if it did end up just being a software brick, and they didn't want anything else done to it, we could have sent it back to them, and that diode would probably fail and cause no power, and then they'd have to send it back to us. So, silver lining. And we're going to knock out those filters as well, so that we don't have to worry about death farts anytime soon. Very, very nice. And there's our 46K dated diode, just waiting to fail on us. Alright. That should make this a happy, healthy, and reliable HomePod. Well, the subwoofer might be the same part, but the amplifier driving it is completely different. So between the amplifier and, possibly to your point, the software, the second gen does, it does technically use a more powerful amplifier chip itself, and the amplifier chip also has a much larger, an actual like heat sink on it, as opposed to just the big exposed copper pad on the first gen, so they can run more power through the same speaker. I haven't seen any subwoofers in the first gens blow up from too much power. They only blow up when the filters go bad. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, honestly. They're using significantly newer, more modern hardware that can not only put out more power, but more efficiently too. It's cooled better, so they probably can get away with tweaking the software to bump that bass up more. I didn't notice that when I did my original side-by-side comparison, but that was also when the second gen HomePod first launched. I should do another good and fair comparison in my living room now that they've both really matured in their software. I wasn't aware that the HomePod, either of them could go below like 40 hertz. But I will not deny if you hear it going even lower, then it's probably doing it. I mean, it's probably producing an audible sound. Whether it's a usable sound is a different question. Just because you can hear it doesn't necessarily mean it's actually. But if you're testing with, you were saying like some kind of bass track or something, then that would make it a little more obvious. Alright, we got another. logic board here. And I swear I am... Okay, no I'm not. Yep, it goes in this way. Alright, that's as far as we'll put this one together, because like I was saying, this mesh will be coming right back off for coloring. Let's take another look at Bobby's here. Put this to the side. And they do want their top colored. Alright. We're bopping back into Bobby's HomePod here because we had looked into it a few days ago and suspected the usual DC offset. However, I believe when we got it back together, it actually got worse. So we're going to try that one more time. If another set of filters doesn't do it, then we will pop in another amplifier altogether. And we will figure out exactly what's wrong with this one in particular at a later date. But I would prefer it to be the quick and easy, simple solution. If I remember correctly, we even replaced the 10 ohm resistor next to the subwoofer on this. And they got a replacement subwoofer. Yeah. I'll have to rewatch that to be sure. been a minute since we've done a test like this, but let's plug our test woofer into their amplifier. I'm going to get my multimeter in DC voltage mode, hook that in to our subwoofer, and let's see how bad this is. Typically, we don't want to see this offset, the amount of DC voltage coming out of the amp and into the subwoofer speaker, any more than 50 millivolts, positive or negative, doesn't matter. Any more than 50 is not good. Anything more than 200 millivolts is considered out of spec for the amplifier chip itself.
I'm having trouble connecting to you.
The amount that jumped is insane. And look at that, we've just got an obnoxious amount of DC voltage on there. It's okay, my little speaker. You'll be alright. A little bit of DC voltage as a snack is okay. Well, let's get this taken all the way back apart and see if we messed those filters up, or perhaps we might have gotten some bad ones, because I did order these from a different seller in order to get them here on time. They should be nice, but I haven't bought a lot from them yet. Maybe I goofed it up too. How long does the new diode last? Forever. I've said it a bunch before, and I'll say it a bunch more, of course, but the old diode only fails because there's a bad batch of them. Manufacturing issues. 2-date codes in particular. Website's got more info if you care, but okay. No, that looks good. Dang. Let's see, I think I can take this amplifier. Let me make sure it's in good working order, but as far as I can see, I don't see a reason why this didn't work. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of testing we can really do to figure it out yet. Alright, well, let's see if this amp is any good, and if so, we will spruce it up and use that. Ah, it's got no power. Is that so? Alright. Well, yeah, that is going to be an excellent amp for us to repair and pop into Bobby's pod here. Let me make a note on this one. That it's got some weird issues. Let's get ourselves an amplifier. What else is in a HomePod that could be failed over time, even after being replaced? I would suggest going to the website nixfix.com and reading through all of the common issues there, because that pretty much covers all of it. But basically, we only replace that diode and those filters. Once that diode's replaced, it won't fail again. Even with replacement filters, they are ceramic capacitors. All ceramics naturally decay over time, so they need to get replaced again, but we don't know exactly how long. They should last at least as long as the originals, so in theory 6 to 8 years. Probably longer, double that, but we don't have enough info from the amplifier itself to calculate exactly how long they should last. So thanks, Apple. That said, the ones we're using, of course, are nicer than what Apple used. They'll last longer. For all we know, the only reason the filters decay so quickly in the HomePods, Jesus. This is not a commercial traveling zone. This is a residential neighborhood. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I would strongly suggest reading my website, because you're pretty much asking all the questions already answered on there. And probably some other stuff you didn't think about yet. Alright. This is all original still, so we're gonna do some maintenance. We'll replace those filters, we'll replace that diode. We'll do the works. At the very least, we've been doing this for over 2 years now, and none of them have came back for the same issue. Hell, pretty much none of them have ever come back at all. The only reason one has come back would be if we made a mistake on the repair, or if it got banged up pretty bad in shipping on the way back. And boy, do they get kicked around sometimes. We had one that showed up that looked like it had a baseball bat taken to it, and that was after we fixed it and sent it back. There was like a week right when we first started fixing HomePods, and for everybody, there was about a week where we were using the completely wrong filters. And I reached out to everybody that got them and covered the cost to take them all back and re-repair them. That hurt. I learned my lessons. But I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't confident that I wouldn't even be offering these services, and I wouldn't want to charge people any money on a repair for something that's not gonna be worthwhile, something that's not going to last. The big question is, how long exactly is it going to last? And for that, I can only give you guesses. Alright. Let's scoot that bottom one down just a smidge more. Perfect. And then we will check out the diode there. Yep, of course. It's dated 46K. Of course, of course. Have I ever been able to listen to a Diodes Phantom? I have not. I would really love to get my hands, or at least my ears, into a Diodes Phantom at some point. I've always wanted one ever since that one turd on YouTube, Unbox Therapy, showed him on his channel. And then the SingCell Alpha came out, and that took my fascination. I love those things. I love those things to death. The company has a few things to iron out still before I can give a full-throated recommendation of their speakers, but they do sound phenomenal. Diodes Phantom, I would absolutely love to get my hands on. Working or broken. Been keeping my eye out, and every time one pops up on eBay, I'm too slow. And obviously, I'm not gonna spend a ton of money on one just to take it apart, possibly break it. But hey, if anybody's got a broken Diodes Phantom they want me to try to fix up, I'd be more than happy to give that a shot for you. Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that too. I can't seem to think of hearing or seeing any hardware issues with the Diodes Phantoms, sans physical damage that people cause. Those are the ones that I typically see popping up on eBay. Busted up dust covers, which is interesting that the dust cover makes it rattle when it gets bent. I wonder if there's a part behind it that's interfering. at the very least, the majority of the common hardware issues that we run into with the first-gen HomePods can be repaired with off-the-shelf components that you can buy off, like DigiKey and Mouser. You're talking, that diode there is only $1. The 4 filters, depending on which ones you get, you can cheap out and get some really crappy ones, or you can go big baller and spend $1 per capacitor on some really nice, flexible, soft terminal ones. But you got the amp chip. The amplifier chip doesn't, pretty much really the only common problems that we see with the HomePods are the software issues with blinking volume buttons, the no power issue with the diode that dies, and the DC filters that go bad and cause death farts and can lead to other bass issues. A lot of the bass issues will stem from those same filters going bad. That should be one happy HomePod. Who is next?
I'm having trouble connecting
That
to
is
the
much
internet.
better.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Beautiful. Let's take a look now at Brian's HomePod. Brian has no power. So, let's get their name up there. Looks like we already shot them an email. Sorry for cutting in front of you there, Brian, with Bobby's HomePod. Totally forgot about his. We needed to get that taken care of. But, alas, here's Brian's HomePod. It's got no power. Let's see for ourselves. Yeah, sure enough. No power on there. Let's get it apart and get it fixed. Y'all know what it's gonna be. Wow. Cool truck, bro. Stupid thread locker. I'm not dealing with a broken screw today. Alright. First up, that maintenance. Let's get those filters replaced. I think I'm already gonna have to buy more of these. Alright. Filters are on. Let's get that diode. I'm gonna go grab some water. Ah, that's better. It's alive!
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Beautiful. Fantastic. Who is next? We've got Nick next. Nick is next. We got Nick's HomePod here. What's wrong with Nick's HomePod? Nick has no power. Let's fix that. Let's see what it's got. Sure enough, that is a lack of power. So let's fix it. Oh. There we go. Alright. I'm not playing games. Get in there. Oh boy, it's been a while for this one. Alright, let's do our stuff. First up, some filters to keep the death farts and other base issues away. Another fantastic set of filters done. Let's get that diode. Got a 48K over here. That should be one happy HomePod. Let's get it back together. Does it make it more entertaining or fun for you when people talk in the chat? Oh, absolutely. I mean, by now we've done thousands of these and countless of them in complete silence. At this point, anything anybody says in the chat is going to be more engaging than me sitting here in silence. I pretty much go into complete autopilot mode whenever I'm not hell, even half the time when I'm talking, I go into autopilot mode. I don't even realize I've fixed however many I fix until I'm done half the time. That said, there was one question that would pop into the chat all the time that always bugged me. And that was, have you found a fix for the blinking volume buttons yet? Oh my god, if I had $1 for every time somebody asked me that, I'd have enough to buy Apple and force them to fix it for us. But now we've got a good answer for it.
I'm having trouble.
Very nice. Let's put that away. And looks like we've got at least 2 more that we gotta crank through here. Let's see, have you heard from us on the LTT WAN show? That's very nice. That's pretty neat. They bought it in 2019, stopped powering on in 2023. Easy peasy. Let's get their name up. Let's see what we can do about that. It's interesting that they heard about us from the WAN show, and the WAN show was talking about us finding the fix for blinking volume buttons. Yet they got one with no power, and that's what they sent in. It's kind of wild because it stopped working for them in September of 2023, and I guess they had never heard about us until the WAN show, talking about a completely unrelated issue with HomePods, but because it's our name and we fix them, and hey, we can pretty much fix anything these run into now. And boy, is that a good feeling. That was my goal from day one, is to make the HomePod completely fixable. Nothing that wasn't known how to fix. I want to fix it all. And then when I'm done with HomePods, I'm going to move on to those Sing cells. I'm going to move on to those Sing cell alphas. They're next. What do you think the ratio between how many black versus white HomePods we get in? That, believe it or not, that's the first time anybody's asked me that. That is a good question. I would have to say it definitely seems, and this is an easy answer, it definitely seems like it's pretty split 50-50. I'd have to go through my past live streams and like compile a list of all the different colors, but now that's got me thinking. Unfortunately, that wouldn't really tell us more than what color people prefer more than the other. It's not an accurate way of gauging, say, whether a particular color is more prone to issues or not. Not enough info to determine that. I'm sure Apple knows, though. Hey, thanks for watching, Dave. Glad you could find us. And I'm glad that we put on enough of a show that's worth watching here. Alex, welcome back. We got them all here. I am the only Nick that fixes HomePods. Actually, I can't say that. There's that fellow, Nick Owitme, the fellow that originally documented how to take these things apart. Wonder what he's up to these days. Ah, you wish that woofer was visible, huh? Yeah, I've got a couple for myself that I don't have the mesh on, just so that you can see right through this this grill here and see that subwoofer in action. I've actually got one at my office that I cut most of these out of, and so you can see it even clearer. There is also, believe it or not, multiple versions of a 3D printable replacement top basket. They come in slightly different styles, show off more or less of the subwoofer. If you don't feel like, or if you're okay with not having the mesh on your HomePod, you can take it off and rock it naked. I call those jank pods. Because their mesh got, they just looked so janky that they looked better with no mesh on them than the mesh they had. Personally, to me, I prefer form over function. Goodness, please help me know. I prefer function over form, so I would rather be able to toss my HomePod around and not worry about the cosmetics of it in favor of it looking a little uglier overall. In favor of it looking, you know, nice and pretty and aesthetic. Don't get me wrong, they are some of the coolest looking speakers still. Completely dressed up, but torn down, they look just as neat. The WLA Phantom is cool, but it's not what I'm looking for. It's close because you've got the speakers are all exposed, but the plastic is still plastic is not clear. That is why I love those SingCells so much. They are the coolest looking speakers on the planet. And the fact that the subwoofer articulates around the pole that it stands on. Oh. And they're both active subwoofers. I just can't. Nah, none of the modifications that you know, whether it be coloring it or if you just go with no mesh at all, none of that's going to really have a bearing on the sound. At least to my ears and my experience. You would really have to do sound measurements, like, you know, like Arting's level audio measurements to see if there is any difference, but as far as I can tell, it's not perceptible if there is any. It'll help a little bit with keeping the dust out, but the HomePod itself is the insides are completely sealed, so nothing's getting in or out, and you should see how dusty some of these get with the mesh on the inside. At least on top of the subwoofer. Again, nothing ever gets inside of them, but on the woofer, that's on the outside part that's exposed to free air, still gets pretty dusty. It's funny because Apple's like redeveloped a special mesh that allows air to pass through and the sound to be completely unaffected while being able to protect against dust. And it's like, it literally doesn't do this any better than sticking a sock over it would. But my ears are also not accurate scientific measurement tools of measurement, so not in the sense that you and I can compare our data against each other and say this is objectively better. We can only say this is subjectively better. I took apart a SingCell Alpha and showed you guys the insides of one in a few of my recent live streams. I've also got a teardowns and things that are not HomePod playlists on my channel if you want to find that any easier, but yeah, I managed to take that apart, managed to put it back together again, and granted it still has the same problem. It seems to be a software issue, it just won't boot up. Don't they tune the room so no mesh would interfere with the tuning algorithms? I think that is a little more advanced. I think you're giving it a little more credit than it is really capable of doing. But I could be mistaken. Yeah, they absolutely have the audio correction, but well, to give you an idea, you could probably stick a HomePod mesh over your head and see if you can hear any difference to the outside world. Oh, I see what you're saying. Just the outer layer of the mesh, so you can see through it better. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. Now you got me. Now you got me going. You know, I actually have a stack of old meshes that I have tried various colors on. Most of them didn't turn out. Some of them I was trying to see if I could dip just the mesh into the water without having to put it on an empty shell so that it could keep its form. That did not work out. But point is, I've got a few candidates that I could feel guilt-free to cut up and not just have that cool little transparent look, but a little dash of color with it. Where do I normally get new parts or chips? I alternate between DigiKey and Mouser. It depends really on who has the parts I want for the cheapest price, or the part that I want at all in some cases. But pretty much all of my parts come from DigiKey or Mouser. I don't like getting a lot, in particular the capacitors, the ceramic capacitors for DC filtering. I stick to high quality ones of those. You really want to avoid AliExpress and Amazon for stuff like that, because it only takes a couple of millivolts and it only takes one of those 4 filters to be bad, or to go bad, for everything to go wrong. So always high quality replacements on those filters. As for the diode, you can do whatever you want with that. I don't care. I still recommend getting the nice ones off DigiKey or Mouser, but if you want to get the cheap, sketchy ones off eBay or AliExpress, be my guest. It'll probably work just fine. But do not do that with those filters, and do not email me when you have problems when you do. Oh, did I not take the gasket off of this one? No, I did not. Now we got 2 on there. If you had a resin printer, I've only got my FDM printer, my 3D filament, whatever the heck you call it, my Ender 3. It's an Ender 3 I got for $20 at Goodwill a couple years ago. But if you had a resin printer, you could print some really sexy parts for this, in clear for these HomePods. That would be really cool. And if you have a resin printer, chances are you've got a 3D scanner. I need to brush up on my modeling skills, but you could easily take a scan of a lot of these parts, or just redesign them yourself, you know? How long until the OG HomePod isn't going to be supported anymore? I'm not sure. It looks like they're getting 18. I'm willing to bet 18 is going to be the last update for them. Actually, is it even confirmed for sure that the first gens are going to get 18? I can't remember. Because the hardware that the chipset that the HomePod is based on has been long discontinued, the iPhone 6. But no reason for HomePods to continue working at least as good as they do today for the rest of Apple's existence, at least. You know, if Apple somehow ceased to exist and their servers shut down, you wouldn't be able to set up a new HomePod, but you would be able to continue using any existing setup, any that are already set up, so long as they can connect to an existing network that they have been on, or you have their settings set to allow AirPlay from anyone everywhere, which would turn it into you know, a free-for-all. But yeah, Apple doesn't seem to be going anywhere, so yeah, it's honestly amazing that they are even still home hubs. I've noticed as versions continue to roll for these products that my HomeKit tends to favor my Apple TV more and more as the home hub. I can't actually remember the last time I saw my HomeKit try to use a HomePod as the hub, which I imagine is because I've got the Apple TV connected via Ethernet. But bada bing, bada boom.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
If I recall correctly, for a while I had a Wi-Fi network set up at my office that had no internet connection. But because it still had the Wi-Fi, my HomePods were able to connect still, and my phone was able to see it, and I was able to AirPlay. I'll have to try that again. It's possible. I wonder if I had it set to allow access from everywhere, in which case you don't need to be connected to any Wi-Fi to AirPlay to the HomePod. But the HomePod and your phone will make an ad hoc Wi-Fi network to connect to each other for the AirPlay to function. But if you've already got it set up to allow access, to allow playback from anywhere, then it won't need to reconnect to a Wi-Fi network for that AirPlay, and you can restart it as many times as you want. It should, in theory, continue to work forever, sans its internet connection for the, internet things. But
I'm having trouble.
all right, we've got Avi all fixed up, and I think we are going to call this a stream for now, because we don't just have Adams waiting, we've also got, after that, we've got Matt, and then we've got Paul, and then I don't know what this one is. There's two of them in here. There's two of them in here and I don't know whose it is. We're gonna find out whose it is. That's their tracking number. You've used a HomePod in your car and it worked fine with AirPlay? Yeah, same, brother. That's one way to get your car stereo going again. Alright, whose HomePod is this? The tracking number is... Are they using the right tracking numbers on these now? Phenomenal. I used to have to trim this tracking number to get the actual one out of it. I really don't know whose these are. This is why I asked you to send me the tracking number or put your name on or in the box, but their name isn't on or in the box, and I cannot find this tracking number in my email. So they either sent it as a link, which sucks because then we can't find it. The next thing we gotta try is we go to the tracking details and we see when it was shipped, and then we go through all of our emails that day and we find who was most likely the one that sent this that day. So they sent it on the 17th. Alright, let's go to our emails. The 17th is going to be a really shitty day to scroll through. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright. Let's see. Jeez. I don't even have anything here. There's no notes in the box. Well, I guess we could plug them in and see if we can see what's wrong with them. This one's got no power. The only other piece of information I'm going to be able to use to figure out whose this is probably searching my email for 2 pods or something like that, because not a lot of people send 2 in at the same time. Okay, so they both have no power. It doesn't help that Gmail search kind of sucks, too. Alright, well, I give up. I'll figure this out later. Folks, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair, and I will catch you in the next one.